Okay, so thank you all for coming to our Scholar and Alum Advisory Board meeting today on April 29th. Um, we have a couple things to talk about, especially with our upcoming travel that we're so excited about, but I would love to go around and just maybe do like a short introduction, just so we don't all know each other. Um, Kind of like whatever you want to say, your name, maybe your location, if you're a scholar or alum, if you're a scholar, what you're studying, maybe if you're alum, what you're doing for a job or something like that, if that's okay. And I can start. And my name is Breezy, and I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I am an alum. I graduated, I was a Rankin Scholar for 3 years until I graduated with my bachelor's in 2019 and my master's in 2020. And now I'm the Scholar Support Specialist here and have the best job ever. And I also teach part-time at the college I graduated from. Yeah. Um, Woohoo, you want to go, Latrina?
I will. I am Latrina Artist. I too am Rankin Scholar alum. Graduated from the University of Georgia 2014. And I started working with Rankin in 2015. Yeah, because we're 9 years, approaching 10 years. So excited to many of you that were alums during my time that I was working as overseeing the scholars. I serve as a Scholar Grant Program Specialist, and of course, just have the awesome pleasure of working with Breezy. And I'll share this amazing news. I think many of you know that we were looking for a new team member, and we have one coming on actually next week. So hopefully, I don't know that she would be in for the our retreat that we have coming up, but maybe you'll get a chance to meet her. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe at our next meeting or something. Who knows? Awesome. So next on my screen is Suzette. You want to go next?
How do I follow you all? My goodness, very impressive.
Yeah,
How does
you are
someone
too.
get their undergrad and then get their master's the next year? Like, that's amazing. That's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Yeah, it's because I took master's level classes in my
Look at
junior and
you.
senior year. Mhm.
I want to be like y'all when I grow up. I'm just saying. And I'll be 60 May 9th.
Oh, girl.
So, hello everyone, ladies. Good afternoon. Suzette Shaw. I live in downtown Los Angeles. I'm in school at Arizona State University satellite campus in the Watts School of Social Work. My major is community advocacy, social policy. My minor is organizational leadership development. I actually, along with my twin sister Suzanne, attended Arizona State straight out of high school in the 80s, and left shy of completing my degree in health science education, public health. I am actually really hoping to add it on at the tail end of my degree process, but that's where I am now. It's baby steps for me right now. So I think that's all.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Hand it off to somebody.
I'll go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Tamara, I was gonna say thank
My name's Tamara Walker. I live in Norman, Oklahoma. I'm an alum. Yay. I graduated from the University of Oklahoma in December of 2021. Started my master's program in 2022 for nonprofit management at Regis University, and I actually graduate this Saturday with my master's, and I was accepted into Creighton University for their doctorate program in interdisciplinary leadership starting in the fall of this year.
I love it. I don't see my reactions. I'm mad. All right, Elizabeth, you want to share?
Yes. So I was a Rankin Scholar, graduated in 2019. Well, 2017 with my associates. And then I had my bachelor's in 2019 and a master's in organizational leadership in 2021. And then my master of business administration in 2022. And I now work in workforce development and supporting others going to education and training through the city of Springfield, Missouri. And Tamara, I'm very jealous. I wanted to get that PhD, but God had other plans. So congrats to you. That's phenomenal. Good for you.
All right, Meg, you're up.
I am, and I have no camera, and I'm on mute most of the time because I am multitasking. I am a scholar at University of Houston. I'm in my, and I live just north of Houston. I am in my last week of school. So, if not my last 3 days or 2 days, so we're down to the wire. So I've got math everywhere because it's the only one that might blow my 4.0 GPA, barely. It might be like a 3.98 if I don't do great on the final, but if I do fine on the final, it'll be a 4.0.
Got this.
Thank you. I'm studying for my Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and I work in business consulting periodically. Mostly I'm focused on school and raising my nephew and taking care of family. I serve as representative payee for my disabled younger sister who's in Hawaii, which is a handful. But I was accepted to the Citadel for their MBA program, and which is focused on leadership, which I love. And so I'll be starting that in the end of June.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah, everyone
And
is. Oh, that got kicked out. Yeah, everyone is just doing amazing stuff. Always so proud to be like part of this with everybody. It's just
yes, indeed.
so
Suzette,
cool.
can you hear now? Because she was saying she can hear. Can everybody else hear okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was saying I was going to tell you to leave out and come back. I want to say, Breeze, before you jump in, I have to shout out these amazing alums that reviewed apps with us this
Oh,
year. So Tamara, thank you. Elizabeth has been doing it for Elizabeth, what, 4 years?
Is it 4 or 5? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I'm totally off memory. I'm going off memory
wow.
right now.
Great.
So,
Love
and
it.
Cheryl isn't here, but Cheryl reviewed for the first time this year.
Thank
And
you, Cheryl.
I know, right? So thanks, and then please, and well, Rhonda does it, but she's on the advisory, but she's in Saudi Arabia,
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
but
Yep.
she's been doing it for years. Who else? Somebody else that she isn't on the advisory board. Thompson is her last name. Oh, it's
Mhm.
Roxanne. Roxanne. Several other alums, one named Tracy, who has been doing it for years. But thanks
I'm
to
sorry, doing what? I missed something there.
volunteering to read the applications that we get in each year for those who are applying to, for our scholar grant. And just kind of give an update so you'll kind of know where we are. Suzette and Meg, y'all probably are the freshest and understand it. Some probably more so, well, Tamara, because she does as well. But every scholar, every applicant goes through 3 rounds of review. It's 3 levels that you go through. So by the time you get to that 3rd round, truly everyone should, I say, receive a scholar grant. But we just had this conversation today because of funding. We just don't have enough funds to award everybody a scholar grant. But we have volunteers from all over the United States that come back, and most of them are very loyal. I mean, we have some individuals that have been reviewing 20 plus years. So just very loyal to the process. And of course, I think, and I'll say this, and I hope we'll get more alums that come on because you have, or I'm gonna say we have a lived experience. Breezy and I both read, so thank you, Breezy.
Yeah.
Breezy normally steps in and picks up where somebody may have dropped off. So yeah, it's just a rewarding. Matter of fact, Tamara, I think you're the newest. So give us, what was your experience like this year with it? So Suzette and Meg, once they're alums, they can jump on the bandwagon.
I enjoyed it. It was so much fun just being able to, one, be a part of the process, and two, getting to learn about the different potential scholars, applicants, and their stories. These women had amazing stories. They had lived through so much, and it was hard to not want to give them all, great scores all across the board, because you could relate to just about every story that was told in the applications. But it was a great process. I'm glad that I did it, and I look forward to doing it again next year.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'll quick story because we laugh about it. Breezy, when you just said that, I gave Breezy the side eye. I'm like, oh my goodness. She's like Breezy that wants to give everybody a 10. And I'm like, we can't do that. You know, I'm the hard scorer. I'm sure you figured that out. Breezy will give everybody a 10.
She's
And
always on my case. I don't think I'm an easy scorer.
she is. So, but it works out. It balances. I'm telling you, it does. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that feedback. We truly couldn't do it with all of the individuals that give up their time to make it happen. So thank you.
Yeah. 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 Well, awesome. Well, mainly what we want to talk about tonight is the travel in June. We are about to, there were two people who want to book their own flights. And so tomorrow we'll be sending out the information on that. And then tomorrow also we will be booking people's flights. So just be ready to, get some information and maybe some questions too about all of that. Our goal is to be is it in Atlanta or Athens by 5, Latrina? I think it's in Atlanta by 5, right?
In Atlanta, okay, for everybody that's flying in. Yes.
Right. So then we can all drive to Athens together, which is like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, depending on the time.
Yeah, traffic. Yeah. And so then we can start by like having dinner all together. In Athens, where the office is. And then we're figuring out lodging right now too. We'll be probably split up amongst like 3 or 4 of our board members. Beautiful homes, right, Latrina? Is the idea?
Absolutely. Well, Karen sent an email out recently. So right now, I think I definitely know between 2, and then the third stop may actually be a hotel. We were trying to prevent from it having to be a hotel, but we're having to work around the homeowners availability and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And for anyone who's staying at one of the board members' houses, they'll be probably with one of us also.
Oh yeah.
Right. One of the staff. So it's not we won't just like drop you all off at someone's house and be like, bye. It's one of us who knows them and everything. So
I know, Meg, we're gonna just drop you off. You're just gonna get dropped off and we'll come over pick you up. I'm just joking.
I used to live in Villa Rica and have a company in Douglasville, so I think I'd be okay. Actually, I had a quick question. So I'm good with you making the reservation tomorrow for me. I know I had said to send me information, but I'm fine doing it the other way. My issue is that I may have to cancel, but I don't know, and I won't know for a while because my nephew is finishing his MEPS and choosing his job this week, and and I raised him, so he's home. Which means per Navy schedule, he could ship out to boot camp in 1 or 2 months, but we have no idea when. So if it happened to fall in during those dates, which I won't know by the time you make the reservation, I need to cancel it.
So Breezy, I don't think I know when we're booking, you can do like the transferable. fares, or
Okay.
sometimes you can do a refundable one. It just depends on how, when you're talking with Karen, just make sure she's
Okay.
privy of what Meg just shared. So I
Yep,
know
yep.
the points that may not be the route to go because they're really iffy with the
Okay.
so we may just need to book Meg straight out and then just make sure it is a transferable or refundable, whichever, depending on the airline.
Okay.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
would
and if
also,
it ends up being like a lot more expensive or any kind of a headache, let me know because like me having it, then canceling, and then having, $300 sitting in Southwest or miles sitting, no, I mean, money sitting in Southwest that doesn't go away is very different than, you guys not being able or spending $200 more for no reason.
yeah. And it
Okay.
just
Well,
depends. I
yeah,
think
we'll be in touch
most
with
of the
that.
time, yeah, most of the time, Meg, when we do it, if we can, I don't know that, and this is where I don't know how that would work. If it's refundable, normally it's only to you. So this is where I say, Breezy, really have a full conversation with Karen about
Yeah.
how we want to navigate that.
Oh, okay. So if it's refunded to me, well, except it wouldn't be to my payment method. I would just send you
Right.
guys. Yeah, it would go back to the payment method
That's true.
because I could just send you guys a check, but it wouldn't be to me.
Yeah. Okay. We'll make sure we figure out the best approach to do it
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that even if you do have, you can't travel, that is not lost, that we can recoup it somehow. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So flights and lodging and so then and of course we'll, take care of food and we like to eat well together, so we'll do that. Um, so for our date together that Friday, we have kind of like a loose plan, I guess we could say. We have one thing we really want to do with everyone that we all as a team do and our board members have done, and that's the Herman Brain Development Inventory. What?
Yeah, before we get there, let's talk about carry-ons. So I want to,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So just making sure everybody, and every airline is different. Since we're just now looking, our suggestion is that you just do a carry-on. It is hot. I mean, like real hot in June. So, you want to be clothed. I would say definitely wear something that's, a little more on the business side. I'm not quite sure if we'll have our photographer there that may be able to snap some group photos. So definitely be sure you wear something that's a little more on the business casual side in the event we do take photos. But since it's only just that one day that we're really all together like that, the rest of the time, I'm gonna be honest with you, you can be comfortable, in summer wear. Because when I tell you it's scorching hot in June in Georgia, so you're not, unless you're just cold natured, you won't need a jacket unless you just, like I said, are just really cold natured. And I mean, if the air gets to you, you can bring like a little sweater or something, or traveling, I know, on the plane. But the
I've
thing of
been
it is,
sitting out my linen wear. I've been setting stuff aside because I'm also going to DC and the same at the end of the same month. So I'm just
yeah,
kind of setting it as I'm cleaning out my closet right now. I'm setting to wear my business casual linen wear.
yes,
Smart.
perfect,
I
perfect.
love
Because I'm
linen.
telling you,
Smart.
yes, and that heat. I mean, we won't necessarily be outside like that, but that humidity is brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah.
And so the goal is again to not hopefully have to push costs up. With that. And so therefore, most airlines will allow a carry-on at no charge. So that's kind of what we were thinking about. Something else about the travel. What else? Let me look at my
The other thing was for people who are making their own flights, which now there's just one. So
just one. Okay. All right. Cool.
yeah,
So you can have that offline.
yeah.
Or we'll just go ahead. So it's on the recording. I mean, I don't know if anybody, if especially if you're using like your own card, if you have like an airline card, sometimes you can get upgrades. Say for instance, going business class, But for this booking and what rank and what refund, it just needs to be if for those that are booking anyways. And if we book yours, Meg, it's not going to be a problem. But just understanding we would reimburse for like basic economy. So whatever the basic is for each airline. And you know, oftentimes nowadays, sometimes they'll let you choose your seat, and other times they won't, and it could be quite expensive to get a particular seat, you know, and if you're wanting like a exit row or things like that, it can just drop the price up a whole lot. So just
Yeah.
being mindful when you're booking, just book basic class and just let them select your seat. Be on depending on where you're coming from. Suzette, I think, is coming the furthest. That you know, and we'll try and definitely accommodate and do our best to make sure she's comfortable.
Yeah, it's how we fly when we fly for work. Cheapest everything.
Listen,
It's a
wherever,
nonprofit, cheapest
listen,
everything.
and we get in where we can fit in. And I just worry the heck out of my neighbors. I just get to know them really, really well. Okay, sorry, Breezy.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Flight details.
And for those
Um,
that are booking, I just thought about this. We would like for everybody to try and be in by 5. I mean, you know, I don't want to give a window, but if I had to say, I would say between 12 and 3, definitely before, definitely before 5, because at 5 o'clock traffic gets, whoo, it's brutal. But we definitely want everybody to definitely try and be in by 5 p.m. for those that the one person that is now looking to book their own flight. Yeah. Meg, and that, I mean, Meg, I see your chat, and that's what we were talking about. Sometimes the airlines will allow us to select a seat, but
yeah.
oftentimes the basic will not. Well, I take that back. Let me be a little more specific. It'll let you select, but that comes at an additional cost. And sometimes those window seats they can be quite pricey. I mean, I'm talking about like 60 plus bucks in addition.
Oh,
To
yeah,
what the
I wouldn't pay that myself unless I was like flying to Seattle, which is a brutal
right,
flight.
right,
So yeah, just
exactly.
if it's an option, if whatever airline you're choosing, Southwest is usually like cattle call,
Yeah,
so you grab what you get.
that's right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only thing. And we're trying to keep costs down, to be honest with you, as much because it's gonna be a hefty price tag. I'm gonna be honest with you, trying to get everybody in and having the accommodation. So we're trying to make sure that once you're here, your stay is, really, really, and for most, it's not a long, long flight.
No,
Um,
no.
yeah.
And you can get up and walk around and
Yes, absolutely.
adversity made us strong and got us here. So
Oh, say that again. Say that again, Maid. Absolutely.
Yeah, so then really the only other bulk of what we wanted to talk about, which is kind of like what if any of you have like specifics or ideas that you would like to get out of our time together. Um, and so far we are like 99% sure we're going to do this Herman Brain Development Inventory, which is super cool. It's just kind of like seeing, it's like it's not a personality test, but it's like a test to like kind of give you a vision of like what you prefer as far as communication and when you're stressed out and getting things done and how to work together. And we've done it as a team. Our board has done it, and it's such a great way to get to know each other. Also, it's really helped our team work together well, and it's helped me too, just in the rest of my life, to be like, that is what I prefer, and that's okay. That's why I don't like lists and schedules. Um, so we're gonna do that, which is cool, and it does take a bit of time. Um, but we do think that that will be really worth it to do together. Um, one other thing that came up for me today is right at the end of my workday today, right at 5, one of our graduating scholars called me, and she was like very adamant about what do I do now? Like, I want to be involved. I want to keep in touch. I don't just want to like be like graduated, done, bye, out of here. And she's not the first graduate and recent alum who has said that. So I would love to at some point maybe spend some time talking about that. Like I feel like it's been our goal to have like a tighter network of our alums who want to stay involved. And I know that's a balance, right? Because people also get busy with work and families and stuff, but I would love to brainstorm about that, either in person or very soon on one of these meetings. But so anyways, I'll let any of you who have like suggestions or thoughts of like if you're thinking of us like being together in person, what would you like to do?
And while you're thinking about it, I'll, give you an opportunity. We've talked about this before, but I want to make sure I share. Of course, we'll get you over to our office, where you'll be able to see that space. We will take like a little field trip, if you would. We've talked about that Jeanette Rankin had a round or has a roundhouse that is still standing in Watkinsville, Georgia, which is about 15 minutes right outside of Athens. So we'll definitely take a little field trip there to see that space. I'm hoping that we will be able to get maybe one of the founders there, Margaret, if health-wise, if she's okay. I want to definitely try and get her there, and even maybe zooming in the other founders, because Gail is in Ohio, Sue is in Atlanta, but she doesn't necessarily travel unless it's something like a big event. So sometimes we can zoom them in. So I think it would be amazing if you could just get an opportunity to spend just if only 15 minutes just for them to pop in, say hi, and of course you all to say hi to them. And Heather is another one, but Heather's health is not the best, so I don't know that Heather will be able to chime in on the Zoom. And then I'm not sure if you're aware, but Rita Rivers, she was the other founder, but she actually passed away. I guess it's been about 3 years ago now. So but yeah, I just think that would be cool, really, really cool, if I can get the founders to chime in that are available to chime in for a little bit. Breezy already talked about the Herman Brain Dominance Inventory, and that takes, I think it took us about an hour and a half, I believe, but we were up and doing other things with it. So I think we added a little bit of time when we did it at the board retreat. So just to kind of give you an idea, by that time, we will have that 5x5 campaign that we've been talking about as to how we can get that up and going. I mean, hopefully flyers and things of that nature will be in hand. So I can probably give a few to you, or if not digital, that we can begin to share out. And also too, just thinking about how we can really push our Star Party for this year, because the Star Party is our biggest fundraiser for the year. And just, hopefully connecting many of you to Star Parties that may be happening in your area. And so I think that would just be a good time to make sure we get as many people connected and geared up and ready to go for the Star Party for this year as well. All right. So what y'all want to get out of it? Come on. I know you're not just coming to Athens just to see Latrina and Breezy. That's not it. Or the founders.
I know for me, I didn't get to be a part of the scholar network where everyone had, I was only like a semester. So when I finished, I wanted to find different ways to still stay in connected with everyone. So what Breezy talked about is amazing to me, like finding a way for us to be more involved and leave a bigger footprint.
Do you have any ideas?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure
I'm thinking
when I
of
get
a
there.
scholar legacy footprint, scholar legacy foundation footprint, or something in the way that can connect to the Rankin Scholarship, but maybe an umbrella that's like the Rankin Scholar Legacy Footprint, something like that. Does that make sense? Where
Go ahead.
where you sew back in, where
Yes.
it's like extension, like an I don't know, something where that kind of is a means of I know scholars are already sewing back in, but just like maybe there's like a real defined infrastructure of how scholars build a legacy footprint to sew back into the foundation or to rank in scholarship.
I like it. And of course, I've just noted, Breezy, the scholar legacy footprint. One thing that we've talked about, and I'm going to use the name that we've used in the past, so it maybe will begin to become familiar with you as well, is to almost like link scholars up with an alum. And so we talk with other foundations about being their buddy. Now,
Mhm.
that doesn't sound necessarily all flashy and good, but just things just as simple as being able to send like a written note of encouragement. And of course, individuals that are coming up on scholars that are coming up on finals, you know what I'm saying? Just sending, even it could be just a text. And we don't want to necessarily push people into mentorship. That's not it. And we are not there yet, to be honest with you, but we can be of encouragement just with our words. I mean, just, by merely shooting a text and just motivating. I mean, if it's a once a month, it's not taking too much of your time, but we've kind of thought about things like that. Just like Suzette just shared, and I noted, but you'll get a card anyways. But even if you knew their birthdays, you can send a birthday card. Just little simple things like that that I think could serve as an encouragement to the scholars. And as alums, definitely, and even as current scholars, you get it. You get it. And alums, you've lived it. And you look, well, Tamara, when going into a doctoral program, oh my goodness. Yeah, certainly still get it. So that's just something that has come up repeatedly, not just from scholars, but from other organizations. Elizabeth, I'm trying to remember because
Yes.
you and I have talked a lot about stuff. So I know you got something for us. Come on now.
Okay, so I like the idea of the scholar support because I know when I was a scholar, my only accountability was the scholarship program. Nobody else held me accountable. It wasn't my school, it wasn't anyone. And so I think connecting with those current scholars and encouraging them, and not so much accountability, but letting them know if someone's there, they care, and you're not on an island. So I think that's a great idea. And then a way to further expand and tell others about the Jeanette Rankin Scholarship Foundation, whether it's something we give out or it's something hanging in our office. But I see so many clients just in my line of work that I'm always looking to see if they would be eligible to apply. And if they can, then I direct them. So just a way to share, have you heard of this scholarship? You might check it out. You might be able to benefit from this.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Awesome.
Which are good, and I think certainly
Yeah.
doable pieces. Just don't know how quickly, but I think if I got it in her hands, I believe Sheila could come up with like a
Oh,
one pager or
yeah.
something for us by the time. And Breezy, I don't have it, and I hope I didn't leave it. But you remember that flyer from the American
Yeah, that we
funding?
liked. Uh-huh.
Do you have it? Because it's not in my materials and my little heart was hurt. We were just in Montana and we were at a tribal college fair and it was like a half pager that was cool. I was like, Breezy, this is exactly what we need. That talks about just the scholarship, talks about when it opened, when it closes, of course, the website, just, pertinent information about it. And of course, I think on that flip side, we could certainly make it be for those who may be interested in giving, and just ensuring they have access as well. So I think it could be a two for one.
Yeah. And when Elizabeth just said something to hang up, remember the person at Salish Kootenai College said that she wanted something to hang up in her office.
She did.
That's now 2 people in 2 weeks that said something to hang up in their office. So, and then I wanted to also mention that last week on Scholar Support Hours, when I asked, because one of our donors, Synchrony, wants to do, they would like to do a mentoring kind of buddy program. And so when I was asking, I had 3 people about to graduate in scholar support hours, and they were like, no, let us be the mentors. And I was like, oh yeah, like scholars would probably love that, you know? And they were mentioning how they would be well aware of how busy the scholars were, you know, and like not have any expectations because they were just in that place, but that they would love to be able to be like, look, you can do it, you know, like I did. Like I'm always telling everyone, right? Like, I promise you'll have free time again soon and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that idea. I like, because that would do 2 things. I mean, that would of course encourage the scholars, and you know, possibly even like I've had a couple before, a couple scholars be asked me to connect them with people who got the degree they're working on because they had like some sort of technical question, and I was able to do that very quickly with our alums every time, you know, which is amazing. But to even like have like a program where like we could possibly connect people, um, you know, with similar majors or goals or something. That would be kind of cool called today to stay close, you know, like the alums who want to stay close. Like I understand that everybody does. It'd be like kind of a 2-way street kind of thing. I like that idea. And I am taking notes in the agenda, Latrina, so you don't have to write everything down. But I know you
Yeah.
like to anyways.
One
Well,
of the
and
things,
that's how I committed to memory too. So I'm still going to read your notes. And Breezy, and let me ask anybody else, because Breezy, we've talked about this, and I think this is a good space to ask any of the other scholars. Have you all used much of is it Remind, Breezy, that you keep on bringing up? Is it the Remind app, or is it GroupMe?
No?
It's some app like
What?
that you like a texting. You
WhatsApp?
talk, is it
WhatsApp?
WhatsApp? Was
Yeah.
it WhatsApp? I
Yeah,
think you
that's
said you use with your school.
yeah, it was WhatsApp.
Okay. I
Hmm.
don't know why I was thinking, Jashandra brought up Remind, my
Oh,
apologies. But
that's
we
okay.
were thinking about, so does anybody here use WhatsApp currently?
I do, yeah. And Latrina, you may be thinking of Group Me, maybe?
Yeah, there's GroupMe, there's Remind Me. I mean, there's multiple,
Okay.
but my question was, and I've used all of them. I don't use WhatsApp as much, but I do it, to be honest with you, with my travel business, because when I'm doing international communications, it's just easier to do it. But my question is thinking about, because currently we do not have a platform where we can group those. So say for instance, if you're in nursing, if you're in law, whatever the case may be, where we can kind of set up some groups where we can plug, you know, various alums and scholars into it, and you can have your communication, you know, kind of like the thread or whatever. So that's where I was going with, you know, asking if anybody had utilized any of those, you know, like platforms that we could maybe get something going like sooner rather than later, because thinking about the mentoring, that can be a bit much. Just trying to create a structure and making sure everybody is on the same, that takes a little more time than creating like a group where we could plug individuals in and be like, hey, these are individuals that just graduated and want to stay in contact with, you know, other recent graduates or whatever.
Right. And I just opened my WhatsApp and I see there is a little, other than chats, which is, private stuff, there's communities where it says stay connected with the community. Communities bring
Mhm.
members together in topic-based groups, and you can
Okay.
create communities.
Okay. Well, appreciate maybe WhatsApp.
Are
Yeah.
y'all on a LinkedIn page as well?
We are, but
Mhm.
not every scholar is. Now, of course, we encourage that, but I'm not quite sure with grouping on LinkedIn. How would that
Yeah,
work with creating
I don't know.
groups?
And it
So
needs
that's
to be a
something,
mutable group.
yeah,
So we're not
Yeah.
getting notifications 24/7.
that's true. That's true. So, and I'm almost sure that WhatsApp, and even like now, my group me is muted because I'm like, they just do the most sometimes. Y'all heard my watch just tell me it's 7:46 p.m. Okay, thank you. But yeah, So that's just, I think, something that I feel could be really useful and helpful that can do
I
that can
agree.
reach the masses quickly, and sooner rather than us having to trying to come up with some type of structured contacts and connections. And then it's kind of like when you need, and don't get me wrong, we use the Facebook group, but not everybody is on Facebook. So therefore, I don't think we're definitely I know we're not reaching the masses because it's only like what, Breezy, 400 people? Are we at 400? How many ever? It's still not the masses. Whereas I think if we were in one of these other platforms, we could probably reach a lot more. So what else? Meg, did you give us, I think you did give us ideas, or did you? Did you give what you want to get out of the?
No, but I was thinking again, this would be one that would be like a coordinating thing, but to bring up current and alums together in some sort of a social event, but geared on service, like on Jeanette's birthday or the founding of the foundation or something, where these could happen, all over the country. And it can be, getting together at someone's house to send cards to current alums, or just to have a barbecue, or go and like just do cleanup at a park. That kind of thing, where you build community of people getting to see each other when they want to, but with a purpose in mind as well. It's broader than just a get together.
Yes, I love
Cool.
that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Potlucks are nice too.
So Jeanette Rankin, B-Day, I put encouraging Scholars Day. I'm creating names for it. And I had something else. You said something else. Oh, doing it all over. Like we could have somebody on the West Coast, on the team on the East Coast, and so forth. That could be doing it on the same day, but they're just kind of having their particular areas that are coming
Yeah,
together.
like if you had like, alum groups in Los Angeles and Houston and wherever, where you get together at somebody's house and, have a potluck and lick stamps, or, just visit, or, go out and clean out a park, whatever. It could be
Yes.
2 people in the middle of, Alaska, or 30 in Los Angeles.
I love it. And I said each state. I just put on each state. As you're talking, I'm just thinking of stuff.
Yeah, every once in a while, a scholar or alum will ask that, like, especially those in big cities, right? They'll be like, can I like meet the other people close by? And I'm just like, I like
Yeah.
that idea.
And we normally connect or try to connect the current scholars, but I don't know that, for one, we didn't have the bandwidth, but now since it's coming up, and this is where I think just know each of your states, you're putting yourself out there, right? Now, Suzette and Meg, y'all get a
I was gonna
pass
say,
for
poor
now.
Suzette, California has so many
Yes.
people.
Right. Yeah, Suzette,
Yeah.
you get a pass for now, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. When you all were talking about reading through the letters, it's making me think in terms of and the letters being so compelling and just really bringing you to tears and want to give everybody a 10 there, young lady. It just makes me think in terms of like, what if like, on the website or something, you had a page where maybe you highlight a ranking scholar story. I think that there should, be a space to really just kind of really just because I also think that I like that we get together the once a week at least, and when I have time I do, because I think that is really important to get together, and I think that like we're all going through a lot of different things in our own little worlds throughout the week and throughout, and while we're on this journey trying to going back to school and so forth, and just keeping in mind the fact that people have been through a lot as they're transitioning back into education, higher education. I think that it's also an empowering way to really to let people know, like, we see you, you know, like we see you. And maybe giving them an opportunity to just you know, maybe once a month or something, a highlight spotlight page on the scholar spotlight, like, you know, these ladies who are graduating right now, and you know, you like finish all these different degrees, like it's amazing. Like it'd just be great to have like a spotlight page or something.
Yeah. And Breezy and I just both ironically dropped it in the chat at the same time. On the
Because it's
ranking page,
yeah.
it is scholar stories, and that they're on there, and we do and I will say, I don't do all of you all follow the social media pages. So you need to, like, our LinkedIn, our Instagram, our Facebook,
Yeah.
the
Like not
ranking
the
one, not
right,
the
the
alone.
actual Jeanette Rankin one. Yeah. Has all
So
the
we
stuff.
certainly, yeah, Suzette, we definitely spotlight. And then, of course, like graduates now are coming up. We'll
Yep.
certainly do that
Yeah.
throughout the year. It's just constant. And I'll say you may not see it, but in our donor letters, a scholar is always spotlighted. In
Yeah.
somebody's story is always in there. Every newsletter, all of this stuff that goes out, there is always a scholar spotlight. I mean, Breezy just
Yes.
had to give Karen.
Yes.
So,
It's
you
a
know,
big part of my job all the time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's great thought. And absolutely, we definitely
Yes.
do, because that's our mission. And who better to
Mhm.
share the impact in, than those who are currently, of course, persevering and have the true stories that accompany it.
Mhm. Yes.
Without it being an award type thing, as people might feel unappreciated. What, talk a little bit more about that. You said without it being an award type thing.
Well, because I would say people have been through a lot in their lives to get to this point. And so to have like a hierarchy among, or the perception of a hierarchy among alums might, trigger feeling less than, as versus everyone is a scholar and everyone's appreciated.
And I want to hear where you're going. So help me understand why won't you say it's a hierarchy?
Well, I mean, the highlighting is good, but and I've seen them; they're lovely. And I'm not talking about them particularly. Just
huh.
if we were to get a jump forward in those, you wouldn't want someone to read it and say, "Oh, well, I didn't get picked as a highlight," or "I
Oh, I
haven't
see what
done
you're saying.
enough to get picked as a highlight," to where it would be something that would trigger insecurity when, JRF is empowerment and
Yeah.
community of women.
Yeah, and I will say, and just, I don't know, this is where I think it's important that we be totally transparent and open. Oftentimes, there are a lot of people that we can't even share because they don't give us permission as well. So there are totally a lot more compelling stories that come through, but not everybody, and for various reasons, they don't give us permission
Right.
to share all of that. And like you said, sometimes it's just it can be triggering. And it's just putting them in a vulnerable spot. And some of them are, survivors of domestic violence. And for those reasons, they can't share like locations and things of that nature. So we try, and I will say, into all credit to Karen, and I'm going to say the team, because now we have a focus to ensure that there is diversity all across everything that we do, and making sure we don't just spotlight one group and leave the rest out, and just even variety of majors. So not just talking about race, but just, making sure everything that we share covers or tries to cover all of the bases in, all areas, so we can ensure we're painting a true picture of who the Rankin scholars are.
Yeah. It's already 4 minutes till 8. We're gonna get through one day together just fine.
We are. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so
Me
excited.
too. I'm super excited. Yeah.
Any other
Yeah, I
final
mean,
thoughts?
yeah, any other final thoughts? I think we have some really great ideas. Like I think we have plenty to talk about that day. which is awesome. And of course, anyone could email me for sure
Yeah, I
with
was
any
gonna
like,
say I'll give it some more thought.
yeah.
But I'll definitely be giving it some more thought. Yeah. So I'm glad that I just had this opportunity with you all just in the last hour. I kind of needed a little pick me up, and you ladies inspire me. So thank you. I look forward to being in space with you all as well. So thank you.
It is
Well,
lovely.
thank you to your board and to Karen for making it possible that we can all come and be together. I think that's amazing, and I'm so honored to be a part.
It is. Elizabeth, I'm telling you, this is where I think your voice is, and I want to continue to say this. You're saying thank you to us, but what is going to make the difference is when we're together, you sharing these sentiments, you continuing to communicate with us certainly continues to inspire us to keep pushing and to keep throwing ideas. I promise you, I said this when I was serving as the support person. I will fight on the behalf of every scholar. And that's the kind of the heart that I would like for the sisterhood to have. And I think when we're fighting for each other, I'm telling you, we already are, but we will become a greater force when we're coming together in the barbecues or when we're doing the cleaning days, all across this United States. I mean, I look forward to that social media post going out, like how we chime in for star parties. It won't be live just yet. But we can have photos coming from every geographical location in the United States. I see it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. That'll be great.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for giving of your time. Meg, definitely kudos to you because you're in that math. I'm just going to pray for you. That's all I can offer for math.
I
have
can do
nothing
it.
else
You'll
to
be.
I get to
You'll
the
do
point
it.
where it's like 3 a.m. and my brain is like, we haven't been able to do math for 5
Yeah.
hours. Why aren't you asleep?
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I got
Yeah,
many
it's so
prayers
hard.
coming your way, but ooh,
Yeah.
and hang in there, Suzette. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Thank
Tamara,
you. Thank you.
for your doctor girl, y'all inspire me because I
Mhm.
don't plan to go back for nothing else at this point. Well, I say I'm not.
And maybe on LinkedIn, there could be maybe a lady that you maybe highlight on your LinkedIn page, maybe once a month, like, who maybe is a graduate or can be a student that, is like maybe working while they're still in school or doing something within the community, contributing in some way in the community while, they're a scholar or transition and they found this like amazing job that really has encompassed everything and is just really kind of talking about their full circle, sharing their full circle story.
Yeah.
I think that would be great to also highlight on LinkedIn. Just maybe a video story.
Yeah. Breezy Tracy L.
Oh my
Because
gosh, yes. That's a great idea,
you
Tracy.
just gave, and she's
Yeah.
coming. She's coming as you was talking about it, Suzette, because she said she was open for it. But yeah, great ideas. Okay.
Cool.
Y'all are
All right.
amazing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get going. I haven't eaten all day and I still have work to do, but it's such a
Yeah.
pleasure. I appreciate you all so much. So thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
I'll send this
Bye. Have
recording
a good
out.
week,
Good night.
everyone.
Thank
Take
you. And
care.
congratulations, young lady.
Thank
So
you.
happy for you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.